Welcome to the UglyMugsPodcast. I'm your host, Quincy.
And I'm your other host, Justin.
So we're doing episode 2 now, and we do want to apologize for the sound issues on episode 1.
That was all me. I didn't see the peaks, and I'll take the lumps for that.
I can also take a little bit of blame because I don't know the first thing about technology anymore.
I wouldn't foresee that being your fault, but enough aside, let's start up on episode 2.
The other thing we do want to apologize for is we are having some iTunes issues. Don't blame us. That's all on iTunes. But it should be dropping both episodes, hopefully today, maybe tomorrow. And today is January 24th, just in case you were wondering. Furthermore, we are working with a local musician to get an intro. And we are working with some friends to get them to come in on episodes to talk about the stuff they like as well. So you won't have to always listen to us. Today, we are drinking coffee and tea. Justin, what kind of tea you got over there?
I have a Lipton green tea with lemon and ginseng. Just something simple, straightforward. This one's probably going to be the average down the middle of the road that I'm going to be on the constant of until we start getting more teas to them both. I'm not too big on chai, so that really limits down.
Chai is good with cream. That's the thing.
It's like a coffee.
Yeah, chai is more like a coffee. I'm doing a simple Starbucks caramel K-Cup from the Keurig. It was actually the first flavor I did on the Keurig. I absolutely loved it, and then I started to kind of branch out from there. I also did a caramel macchiato creamer with it, and then just sugars to keep the whole caramel thing going on this one. I like it personally. I know a lot of people have their issues with Starbucks, but I'm a pretty big Starbucks guy.
Basic white bitch.
I am. I just need a pair of Ugg boots and a dog I can carry in my purse, and we'll be good.
You got a purse?
We won't talk about it. But we have a lot of stuff we want to talk about today. So how about you want to start with something you came across, and I've got something that kind of folds into that. So you want to start with the trailer?
The trailer for which one? There's a lot.
Okay.
To be fair, we went over a lot before we started this. So
Very
it's
true. We did our research this time. We're a little bit more ready. We're a little more prepared. Well, it's the trailer everyone's talking about. We got the date of 2020 is all we have so far. We saw a barn. We heard some music we recognized. And then we panned in on some lights and some noises.
And then it was the back of the
Ecto-1. Yeah, and a nice rusty Ecto-1, which he's come out and talked a lot about it. He says it is going to be connected to the first 2 movies. He says it would be connected to the third if it had been in the same universe because he loved what they did. And to clarify, the director for this movie, the guy that worked on this teaser, which is all they've filmed so far, he's the son of the original director. He says he was actually on set for the first 2 movies, too. So, I mean...
So you have direct influence from Dan Aykroyd, from Bill Murray. You have direct feed from them.
Yeah.
And did they mention anything about this?
What do you mean?
Like
the originals?
Yeah.
I haven't seen or heard anything yet. I know that Aykroyd for a very long time has wanted 3 to happen. I know he was a big driving force behind the game, which a lot of people consider canon because the full cast came back. I do know, spacing on his name, but the actor that plays Winston, in the past he's done plenty of cameos as himself for doing Ghostbuster things. He was in an episode of How I Met Your Mother where Marshall sees the fire buildings for sale, and he's like, oh, I gotta call Lily. And he taps someone on the shoulder and goes, can I use your phone? And turns around, it's him. And he's like, I just need to use your phone really quick. And he straight up looks at me and goes, who are you gonna call? You know, it's a great moment.
Those are nods.
So I don't see him saying no. I mean, we won't get Rick Moranis. He doesn't act anymore. He's come out to do a little bit of voice acting here and there, but he retired. So really, it's looking like if we get anyone, it would be Aykroyd for sure. We can't get Spangler because he passed away.
Yeah.
However, they did do a nice homage for him in the remake. They got a bust of him that you can see at the college. Yeah. Murray did come back for a cameo in the remake, so I mean, maybe at least he'll come back for a cameo in this. And they've already said that it's going to be following a younger male and female lead. So it's not going to be about that crew anyways. So they totally could just have Bill Murray do a walk-on.
Or a one of those, this is the ropes, kid, you know, kind of like the satyr from Hercules, Phil. You know, he's like, come on, kid, rule number 45, aim low.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, and like I said, he did the walk-on for the remake, and furthermore, they even used him in some post-movie stuff. Spoiler alert here for anyone that hasn't seen it, but I feel it's fair game for the remake by now. His character doesn't believe in ghosts, and therefore is attacked by a ghost and thrown out a window. So you're kind of like, oh crap, did he die? Like, what happened? They did a little online thing where you can find his character's like website or book or something like that, and he talks about the incident that happened in New York after that. So clearly they didn't kill Bill Murray, but wouldn't be the first movie to do it. So
the best one's still Zombieland,
which is announced. Number 2 is coming with the original cast and some new members as well. I'm glad it's happening. They originally tried to do a TV show on Amazon, which originally they wanted it to be a TV show. They were supposed to have a zombie kill of the week. There were going to be rules every week, the whole thing. No one wanted to pick it up until the movie happened. And then after the success of the movie, Amazon's like, we'll do a TV show. And we're like, where were you before? And so that's why we got a weird, half-hearted, low-budget TV show with all new actors that no one watched. And then we went on into the actual sequel. But another trailer that we just saw that I showed you right before we got on. Go ahead. So go ahead and give them what you just experienced.
Okay, I didn't know that this fell in, but when he showed me on his phone, I see the longer ugly sweatshirt jacket looking.
Cardigan.
Huh?
Cardigan.
It's a cardigan?
Yeah. Male cardigan.
It's a whatever. I don't believe that, but whatever. And I see those slippers, and I'm like, no way. And I see Bridges just look over the glasses, and he smiles.
Well, and there's the music too.
And there's the music. I didn't hear the music.
They very much Ghostbusters it. So what we're talking about is we just got a glimpse at what could possibly be a sequel to The Big Lebowski. It had the date of the upcoming Super Bowl, so I'm assuming that's a trailer date or something, because I doubt they're launching the movie on Super Bowl, especially considering this dropped today. Bridges put it on his Facebook today.
Yeah.
So you're talking like just barely a week or two out.
And if it was the full thing, like maybe it's like a small snippet of something. Maybe it's not what you're thinking. Because all these reboots and remakes, you got way too much of.
See, I'm all for sequels. Reboots and remakes is where I start getting like, ooh, I don't know about this. When we heard about Men in Black 3, I was excited. When I heard about the new Ghostbusters, I was excited.
What about the new Men in Black International?
International? I'm actually excited for that one, and I watched the trailer and I really like it. I've kind of already called the plot, though. But I'm very excited because it's not what the original rumor was. So originally, the guy that did the 21 Jump Street and the 22 Jump Street movie was working on this. I'm not entirely sure if he's still the guy that did. But when that happened, talks were was that this wasn't going to be the Men in Black 3 we've seen. Talks were was it was still going to be connected to, sorry, not Men in Black 3, the fourth Men in Black. It's still connected to the first 3, it was the original rumors, but that it was going to have Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum playing their 21 Jump Street characters coming into Men in Black, and I was so against it.
Now hold on,
no, 100% against it.
I mean, it would have been entertaining.
If it was a spoof movie, fine. And I don't like spoof movies, but I would have accepted it more. Originally, this was talked as a direct sequel. Now we've got the international thing with Hemsworth and with Neeson, and I'm excited. It looks good. My theory is that Liam Neeson's gonna be the bad guy. He's gonna be the double agent. That's what I'm thinking. Based off of the trailer, that's the feeling I got.
Okay.
But I'm all for sequels. I was all for the new Punisher movie. Not movie, season.
Let me just say that was a good season. It was.
Yeah, so like I was all for when they first started talking about bringing it back, despite loving the previous movies. Warzone wasn't exactly the greatest movie, but I enjoyed it.
It was entertaining.
I even liked Dolph Lundgren one, so it's like when we're getting these certain remakes, I'm excited. Sometimes I'd like a sequel though. I would have preferred a sequel for Punisher rather than Warzone, but we got Warzone and it's fine. I'm trying to think, were there any other big trailers that dropped that we were excited about? I mean, there is the new Men in Black. There was the new Lebowski.
Yeah, that would probably be about it for the trailers that we've managed to see.
There are 2 trailers that dropped today that I haven't watched yet, and that's The Boys. Got a trailer today. It's a comic book series, for those of you that don't know. Originally, the main character is drawn to look like Simon Pegg, so we were all hoping he was going to be in it.
Oh my god.
It didn't happen.
Oh.
Sadly. But it's this group of guys that basically are tired of dealing with superheroes. And so they exploit superheroes' weaknesses and go around and start killing all the heroes.
That's actually really nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good premise.
The opening splash page, and anyone that hasn't read The Boys yet, ignore us for a couple of seconds. But the opening splash page is the character that looks like Simon Pegg and his girlfriend like holding hands and kind of spinning at like a carnival or something. And suddenly a villain is punched by a hero and he flies by and just smashes Peg's girlfriend into the wall, leaving Peg holding her severed arms. And this is the stuff that's happening where they're like, you know what? We're done with the heroes. But they're also done with the villains. Like, they're done with all of it. So that one's being done by Amazon. It's going to be an Amazon original.
Okay. And I have zero. I have actually negative problems with Amazon originals. Because
from my understanding, Tick's been amazing. I haven't watched it yet.
Tick, Man in the High Tower has to be probably one of my favorite World War II subsidiary stories. It's what if Wolfenstein, The New Blood actually was actual and wasn't overbloated with blood, gore, and anti-Semitism?
I like Grand Tour.
That one I haven't seen.
I came into Top Gear late. I'm not really a car guy, but I can appreciate them. Top Gear was fun. I came into it a little late, though. By the time I experienced Top Gear, original cast hadn't pulled out. But I was watching original cast episodes, so people don't come after me. I do watch original cast. I have not watched the new cast that they did. But I started watching Grand Tour, which is the original cast. Basically did their same show, but for Amazon. And you don't know about this. So what happened was they'd been doing this car show for years. It's a British group, like 3 friends.
Okay.
Big car junkies. They go out and they race cars. They bring celebrities in, have them do their course that they have to see who the fastest driver is out of all these celebrities. All kinds of stuff. And one of them had gotten into a fight with one of the producers on set. And his 2 buddies who run the show with him took his side, and one of the other producers took his side. But still, BBC or whoever it was like, no, you're fired. And so the other 2 hosts and that one producer that took his side all walked. They're like, fine, we're gone then. We will not be here without him. We were on his side. We can't believe this. And when that happened, Amazon was like, we want to do a car show. And so the actual first episode, if you turn on Grand Tour, the first episode is him walking down like a rainy street of London, getting into a cab, getting onto a plane, and then getting off in sunny LA. And I Can See Clearly Now starts playing. And then it goes into them doing it. And they kind of make jokes that they're bringing in guest stars instead. Something always happens to the guest star to where the guest star never makes it. Like, they're poking a lot at the original show. So that's an Amazon original I'm fully behind, and that's on its 3rd season now. And it actually got a reference in the new Hitman game. There's an exit you can do in the Miami level that's not a marked exit, where you leave as the Sting, who's the mysterious driver that comes in and is able to drive any car they have. In reality, they bring in a different race car driver each time and have them dress the same.
So you just dress up as him and get in the car?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. That's kind of
But
neat.
Diana does a whole speech over it talking about he's 47, the way they did the Sting. It's a really cool thing. But yeah, no, I'm all for Amazon doing originals. One of the other companies that's trying originals right now is Apple for iTunes.
I know that this is audio, but I just made a weird face.
Yeah, they're sinking billions of dollars into it. And we still haven't seen anything from the last I checked. And I'm an Apple user. I've got an iPhone. Justin is not. I don't even know what you use. What do you have? A brick with numbers painted on it?
You're trying to get the tongue-in-cheek reaction out of me, but I'll admit my faults where I lie. The only Apple... Oh, what's that? Siri just picked up on something?
Yep, Siri just picked up on something while you were talking. How funny is that?
We're recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they didn't hear.
Yeah.
Now, I will say I have my issues with Apple, but I'm all for new content, especially when we live in this era where, like I've told you with Netflix, I'm scared that my shows are going to get canceled. I've gone from enjoying my shows to being terrified of liking anything.
Punisher Season 2, it did not cancel after it. They say that they're pulling them all. I'm just going to be hopeful that Season 3 will at least be on Netflix, or even if it moves over, at least there will be a Season 3, because I enjoy... Punisher is my favorite anti-hero, hero, either or. Vigilante. He is my favorite of all time just because he only... The worst case is he has to deal with one villain the maximum number of 4 times.
You're going to want to read some Red Hood over on DC. If you want a DC character you can get behind, read some Red Hood. He's an ex-Robin that kills.
Okay. Oh, he's the one with that slate mask with the white eyes.
Yeah. He's had a couple different incarnations, but yeah.
Okay.
He's the main. Spoilers. He's the main villain behind Arkham Knight in the game.
Oh, okay.
It's
not like I was going through those or anything.
You've had how many years, first of all? Second of all, they totally blow it in the first 30 seconds of the game.
Oh, do they?
They don't reveal him until the last mission, but whoever was behind the facade of it totally blew it. You haven't heard anything about him in the first 3 games, and suddenly it's the entire game is about the Robin he lost.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And then this big guy comes in who's able to get past all of Batman's gears and tech and everything. It's who is it? There's even flashbacks and everything. But let's move on to a little bit more here. We're kind of hitting the trailers a little harder than I expected.
Yeah.
And we don't have nearly as many to talk about.
Yeah.
We can stay in movies though. So the episode 9 script for Star Wars is currently under lock and key with guarded security. No one's getting to take a script home. When people come to read it, they actually are escorted to the room. They sit down in the room, they read the script, they leave the script behind with the guards outside the door the whole time. So I get it. It's the final of the main 9 Star Wars films. So I get there's a lot behind it.
But it's a big film. It's got to have people memorizing their stuff because the last thing you need is cut. You messed up on your line. Go back in the box.
Yeah. I'm hoping that, it doesn't cause those problems, but I do understand where this gun shyness is coming from a little bit because this is also the same company in a sense, because back then it was just Lucasfilms. Now it's Lucas and Disney. But back when it was Lucas, this is the same company that the entire script for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was leaked to the point that they considered canceling the movie. So
I like Indiana Jones. It's one of my favorite movie series. So I mean, it's more along the lines of even if it's leaked, who cares? It's all a matter of perspective of the outsiders who are actually going out and looking this stuff up, or otherwise to have that reason of disbelief.
From what I understand, the original Deadpool script hit the internet. I never once went looking for it. I wanted to be surprised sitting in the theaters.
And to be honest, the first Deadpool movie, pretty good. I mean, we saw it in the drive-in.
Yeah, well, I saw it 4 times.
Oh.
My best friend James that's his character.
Yeah.
And so we went and saw it in theaters at an actual Regal the day it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw it twice at the drive-in. And I want to say I saw it one more time in an actual sit-down theater. For a total of 4 times. And that's not all he saw. He kept seeing it without me there. He saw it.
I only saw it the once and I was okay with that.
Don't get me wrong, it was a good movie.
I really
enjoyed it. And it's people like him, which is why that movie broke the records it broke.
Yeah.
And I probably would have done that if we had ever gotten the Spider-Man movie I wanted. Not to say Homecoming wasn't good, because I did enjoy Homecoming.
See Multiverse.
That might be... Yeah,
I
haven't seen Spider-Verse yet. That might be the one I go back to. It's really hard to get me to go to a movie multiple times. So I saw...
That one might. That one actually might.
I saw the Evil Dead remake twice.
Okay.
Because I just love that. And that's a remake I'm fully okay with, because that one was written very much in a way of, this is a remake. Unless you don't want it to be. It can be a sequel.
Or not just a sequel, but an adaptation.
See, I don't like the... It's an adaptation, because it's an excuse for people to not follow the source material.
I mean...
Look at some of the superhero movies we have had.
I'm looking at Warcraft.
There you go. That's a good one right there. It's an adaptation. We ignored almost every pre-written story you had that we could have used. The stuff people wanted to see.
Like none of the Stormwinds, none of the Stonebreakers, none of the Paladins of Light, none of that. It's just a story. It was entertaining, I will say that. But if you didn't tie the name Warcraft to it, I don't think it would have had a big audience. But then again, even though it tied to the Warcraft name, what did it have?
Oh, well, yeah. And one of the things that I'm worried about is there's I want to say it's a new Star Wars comic that's coming out, and it's going to be based off the tabletop game. Edge of the Universe.
I'm going to have to get more into Star Wars. There's a lot of things I need to catch up on.
I'm excited because it's a good tabletop game. It's a really good tabletop game, and I love they got away from D20s and 10s and stuff like that, and instead did successes, failures, advantages, and disadvantages, and then there's levels to those. So you can succeed, or you can like really succeed, and you can fail, or you can like really fail. It depends on the dies. And the way it works is the higher your levels are, the lower your levels are, determines what color dies you have, because the color of the die has more succeeds or fails on it depending on the color, and how many of them you get to roll.
Okay.
Succeeds and failures cancel each other out. Advantages and disadvantages cancel each other out. So if you roll 5 advantages but 6 disadvantages, you have 1 disadvantage.
Yeah.
And things like that. It's a really cool concept. I'm just worried about them doing their adaptation of this tabletop story into another form, because I don't know.
I don't know. We get books to movies all the time, and they either do really, really well or really, really odd.
Yeah. Well, what I just told you is I finally watched the new Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
Which is actually pretty faithful. Even filled in a few blanks, but I feel like they wanted to throw people off a little too much, because Agatha Christie did that amazingly on her own. She completely throws you off. You're not entirely sure who the killer is. But they cut a whole section out involving a soap bag. For anybody that's read the book, they understand what I'm talking about. I want you to read it, so I'm not going to tell you. But they replaced the whole soap bag thing being what it was with having someone else be attacked instead, as a way to throw things off. And it's like, it wasn't needed, but I get it. It's because they're trying to continue to throw you off, and I think they were trying to throw off people that have read the book as well. Because I gotta say, I was like, wait a minute, that didn't happen. Wait, did it? I'm sitting there trying to go back. I'm like, I haven't read the book in a while. Did it happen or not? And I finally came to the conclusion it didn't happen. But it did have me kind of going through a spiral for a second, where I'm like, whoa, wait, what's happening? What's happening? That's where I'd been calling the entire movie up to that point. So that was nice, but adaptation can be a cop-out.
Yeah, that seems to be the best word for it.
Look at Gotham.
Now hold on. That's what
Okay.
that was my first inkling to slide into the Batman before you showed me Hush.
Okay, okay, fine. I won't give you Gotham if you want to stand up for Gotham. How about Suicide Squad?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
It's my adaptation of the Joker. No. That is your adaptation of something else.
That is.
I don't know what it is, but it isn't the Joker.
That is not the Joker.
The other one I can say is I just had it and I just lost it. It was another DC thing.
Superman vs. Batman?
Yes. Lex Luthor in that.
Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor in that. He was closer to the Riddler than anything, and he still wouldn't even made a good Riddler.
I think he could have done a good Riddler. Now thinking.
No, I'm saying that performance one of it. I think he could. I think he's a decent actor. I've seen several roles of his I've really liked. I thought Social Network was amazing. I love Zombieland.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Lex.
No.
I don't know what it was, but it wasn't Lex. We're getting a Lex Luthor on Supergirl, from what I understand.
Who?
I don't remember the actor's name, but he has a goatee, which is a little odd. He's bald, but has a goatee.
When are we going to get that Lex Luthor from the animated series, from the Justice League animated?
Right? The one that was voiced by Clancy Brown?
Yes!
Oh, God, I'd love that. I feel like the closest we ever got was probably Smallville, and he still wasn't even that ruthless.
Like, no, the ruthlessness of him was... Okay, like, spoilers for the show that's from 12 years ago.
Oh, God, if not more.
He was hit with a kryptonite shot, and he's like, if this kryptonite doesn't kill me, I will. Like, you know, he was vengeful. He was very vengeful. He wanted a cure for this. And then he managed to catch Batman. He's like, I need your help. Help me with this. And Batman's like, no. Like, I'll admit, I don't kill, but at the same time, I don't see a point to help you with this. Because what are you honestly going to do for me? Inside of his mind, he's like, I make more than you. I honestly don't need any of this. And then Luthor's like, I bring together all these heroes. None of them are smart enough to heal me. And then he brings up Big Monkey Brain Grodd? No.
Yeah, Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd. And he's like, I'll pay you to fucking get this out of me. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And then Grodd backstabs him and leaves him for dead. And
I would never trust Grodd personally. Right?
Yeah, Grodd's like, why would I want you around when you've already paid me?
Yeah, no, there's the whole storyline of him getting cancer from carrying kryptonite too close to him. That's another good point. That whole animated run of Justice League Unlimited, and it being connected to the original Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, It's all an amazing run. It's even got its connections over to Teen Titans and Static Shock, who Static Shock is very underrated and does not get the love and respect he deserves.
Oh no, he's coming in, so get ready.
Yeah, and there's also talks that he might show up in Black Lightning, the CW show, which I'm excited about. But CW is still like, oh, it's not connected to Arrowverse, and I'm like, don't do that. Connected to Arrowverse, you're gonna do so much better. And it'll open up more people to this young black superhero, which I think is something, one, they need, two, could be very successful business-wise just looking at Black Panther.
I mean, Static Shock, the original cartoon, was meant for the, and I'm putting quotations, urban environment.
Oh, dude, I loved that.
I loved it. I loved the shit out of it. It had a catchy theme. It caught me on for the very first episode.
It went through 4 different changes for its theme song, and I love every single one. And the day they start selling it on iTunes, I'm buying it.
It was all good. You had good guest stars. You had the guy who played his father was a heavy actor too.
I don't remember the cast on that anymore.
But even still, everyone matched their facial expressions. Did very good at portraying their characters. Even the villains had their good arcs. There was a couple redeeming arcs later on for some of the villains. Their powers matched their personality. It all felt really good. But I'm kind of curious on where they're going to take it currently.
I feel like DC is like, we have something here, but they don't want to give it the chance.
Let's throw it out the window.
Yeah, pretty much. So they did a comic book release a couple years back of Static, and they kept changing up the writers, but they were like, here's the core story, just tell segments of it. Which isn't a problem. It happens with comics all the time, and it works well. And one of the people they brought in was Mark Bernardin. He's a journalist, now turned podcaster, friends with Kevin Smith. He's worked for Playboy. I think he worked for Entertainment Weekly. He's worked for all kinds of stuff. And they brought him in to write 2 issues. He wrote the 2 issues. It got canceled an issue before his first one was supposed to release. I think they still released his. I'm not 100% on that. But he's just like, okay, it's canceled again. This is not the first time it's been canceled. It's not even given its chance. And when it had its re-release or whatever you want to call it, when they did New 52, it barely lasted. I don't even know if he got his own release on Rebirth. I think he may have just come in as something else. He's a very underrated character, and I would love to see him show up more in DC, because he does. I feel like he's kind of like in the Defenders style, where it's the street heroes.
Heroes for Hire-esque.
Yeah, Heroes for Hire-esque. We're the people that deal with the stuff down here while you're up there fighting flying robots.
Yeah.
We're making sure the people are alive down here who have to deal with the daily troubles.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But we also have our super freaks that we have to deal with as well. And I always wanted to see him show up in the Teen Titans, because they kind of have a moment in the animated series where Batman shows up and helps Static out, and Static goes, "Where's Robin?" And he's like, "Oh, he's with the Teen Titans." And he's like, "Who?" He goes, "You'll find out." And I was like,
never finds out.
Oh, never finds out. We do get to see Old Man Static in a Batman Beyond DC Unlimited crossover.
Comic?
Oh, not DC Unlimited. Justice League Unlimited crossover. Animated. It's a full episode.
I'll have to check that out.
So, basically, it's a Batman Beyond episode.
To me, that reminds me of the first Incredibles movie, where, honey, where is my super suit?
Where is my super suit? Why do you need it? That whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it would be that. That's the angle that they were going for.
It takes place. So, okay, we actually get a time jump twice between Beyond and Unlimited. So there's one where someone from the Unlimited universe ends up in the Beyond timeline, meets. Oh, it's John Stewart, Green Lantern. He ends up in the future.
Okay.
And so he meets an older Static Shock. He meets Terry McGinnis, Batman. He meets what he thinks might be his son with Hawkgirl. And he's like, whoa, wait, what? You know, there's a whole thing there. And then there's one where it's a Batman Beyond episode where Terry's sitting down with Amanda Waller. And she's explaining how Terry became Batman, and how it's not because he chose to, but because she made it happen. And she tells him this story of back when Bruce was Batman. And there's a whole thing there, too. And you've got to watch the Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, regular Justice League Unlimited, and Batman Beyond as all one show. Because basically,
it actually is all
it
one show.
It's all Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, all of them working on it. Because what happened was Warner Brothers came in and went, no one wants to buy toys of an old man talking about Batman.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you talking about? They're like, we need like an edgy teenage Batman. Come up with something. And they're like, we can't like roll the clock back. We're doing something here. But we can go in the future. And that's how Terry McGinnis happened, who's now in the comics and everything. He was not a comic book character before this.
Yeah. It was all original. Right?
Yeah, it was all original.
It did well.
Yeah, no, it did amazing. We've seen a few things like that. Chloe from Smallville wasn't in the comics. She made it into the comics because everyone loved her so much.
Yeah.
Agent Coulson from Marvel wasn't in the comics. He is now. Diggle from Arrow wasn't in the comics. He is now. We see it happen quite often where the writers of these shows make a character that everyone likes. But they had basically done this, and Batman Beyond became the huge thing it was. And then eventually Paul Dini went over and started working on Marvel stuff. Bruce Timm kind of got knocked down a little bit from what he was doing. He started doing a lot of the movies instead of the animated movies. And so what happened was we still ended up getting the young Batman that they wanted in The Batman, which is actually a really good show as well. And brings in a whole new look at a lot of the villains. You get a Joker who's a bit more of a fighter. He runs around without shoes on and does like a lot of gymnastics stuff. He'll grab onto things with his feet and stuff like that.
That's a bit okay.
He's got this like deeper, gravelier voice. It's actually a lot of fun. One of my favorite lines from it is Batman goes to wipe the makeup off his face to see his face, and it doesn't work. He tries it doesn't work, and he just looks at him and goes, "Perma clown," and that's like it's supposed to be like, get it? I'm a permanent clown, and Batman's just so like, I am so done. I am beyond done. And it's their first encounter. He's already done with them. And they brought in a different version of Bane that was pretty cool.
Is it the luchador? At least give me the...
He still has the mask.
But is he... The only reason why I say this is the last two renditions of Bane was the... And the one...
What do you expect in the middle of children?
I did not like that one.
Yeah, no.
And then the one before that was... It was a big man, but he wasn't a luchador. He wasn't.
No. You want a? It was. I think he was a luchador, but I could be wrong. But you want a good representation of Bane where he's luchador. Play Arkham Origins.
Okay.
Origins. He's got the mask. He's got the accent. Even in Arkham Asylum, he speaks Spanish sometimes. He refers to one of the doctors as Bruja, which is witch. So the Arkham series did a lot better at sticking up until Arkham Knight. That is. Sticking to things. But we were talking about Star Wars before, and there's one more thing I wanted to bring up about that. Resistance, the newer cartoon they've been doing, because they've ended all the other ones that they've done so far.
Clone Wars, I heard, was really good.
Clone Wars is coming back with a new season once Disney Plus happens.
Oh.
Which, by the way, Disney's losing money right now on their percentage of Hulu.
Oh, no.
And on ESPN Plus.
Oh, that's right. They own ESPN, don't they?
Yeah, they own ESPN, but they're losing money on the Plus. So I'm a little worried about Disney Plus not making any money.
Nah, I'm sure.
But they're doing Resistance right now, which is doing like a rewind type of thing, like a backwards time type of thing, and showing a BB-8 appearance.
So it's episode 7.
It's not going to be about episode 7. It's BB-8 showing up, so it could be before 7, it could be after 7, it could be during 7. Well, it can't be during 7 because BB-8's there for all of 7.
Yeah.
But it's somewhere closer to that, so the BB-8 can show up and be a thing. BB-8's one of the hot sellers right now.
Yeah, he is. He's the new Furby.
Yeah, true. But that's about all I have on the Star Wars front. I mean, we're still waiting to see what EA is supposedly doing. But...
I have lost my faith in EA. Like, I don't get me wrong, they could still make their great games, but when Battlefield does bad, that's when I know EA is starting to fall apart.
Yeah.
Battlefield 5 did not sell well.
I'm also starting to worry about what Sony's cooking up. I'm not worried about Sony going anywhere.
Oh, no.
I'm just worried about what they're cooking up because they are now skipping 2 conventions. They're skipping E3 this year, and they're skipping CinemaCon.
That makes me wonder if they're going to like plug into the smaller ones because they don't... There was also a rumor in the rumor mill that they're doing what Nintendo does, where they do a Nintendo Direct, where they don't need to be there. They'll just show you what they're going to show and call it a day. Because they're probably wasting a lot of money during their production.
Have you seen the insanity that is Sony and some of these other companies like Naughty Dog trying to go all out for E3 and making everyone just feel awkward.
Yeah, that's why they're probably backing off.
Ubisoft, I think it was, who does the Just Dance games.
Yeah, they wanted everyone to dance.
And no one did it.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog moved everyone into a different room to watch a guy play a guitar, and then moved them back into the original room to watch the game trailer.
It was like, what? Wait, why?
Yeah, so I get the backing out of E3, I guess, but rather than backing out, I would go to a smaller thing or do what Nintendo is doing.
I think they're probably going to.
But for CinemaCon, they straight up said we're not going to be there.
Well,
so
you can't see it, but I'm shrugging really hard.
This is the company that just dropped Into the Spider-Verse, though.
Yeah, they dropped that, and it's a very great movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
This is the company that owns Blu-ray and originally invented the Blu-ray disc. I mean, you guys aren't going to be at a movie convention?
It's so difficult to
Everyone
talk about.
switched to their format of disc. Like, I don't know. It's weird. That's actually why the Xbox 360 didn't do Blu-ray, was because it was the competitors. So they didn't want to promote the competitor, which was the dumbest thing they could have done for the 360, because it's like, wait a minute, I want to be able to watch Blu-rays on it.
Yeah, and then they wind up doing that with the Elite, right?
No, you couldn't do it with
HD.
the one.
That's right. The HD discs were, and they didn't even do well on the HD discs.
Well, the HD discs weren't anything compared to the amount of space you can put stuff on a Blu-ray.
Yeah, because it was a double layered disc or some bullshit, and I'm like, that's dumb. Give me a Blu-ray.
But we need to see some stuff from Sony, because they've dropped a Spider-Man game that did amazing, but sadly didn't win any awards. That is now connected to the comic book universe through a connecting comic book, which that connecting comic book also connects into the Spider-Verse, which has done amazing, which all connects it to the main Spider-Man run.
Okay, to be fair on the game front, it ran against two really strong games for the year, God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2.
I will give you God of War. I didn't play Red Dead or God of War. My issue with Red Dead is everyone's loving it right now, and they could have made an absolutely amazing, beautiful game, which from my understanding they did. But when it comes down to it, that game is quickly just going to be about the online. It already is. People already are only caring about the online.
My second in command on my Discord, he's played Red Dead, and he says the story was amazing.
Yeah.
He does not care about the online.
That's good.
So
but I bet you anything, he's also one of the ones that doesn't care about GTA Online.
He did.
Did he?
He did.
Okay.
He wasn't too big of a fan of Red Dead Online for the idea of, oh, yay, do these bounties, throw your lassos around. It didn't entice him then. But I think the GTA Online, where you get your guns, you get your cars, you drive around doing these heists, that one seems a little bit more outgoing.
But as someone that actually played Spider-Man, I can also see why it should have won something.
Yeah.
Nice. But it's not even about the awards. It's about that this company just hit us with a powerhouse of stuff that we loved and are asking for more of, and now they're going dark on us.
Maybe.
And this is after rumors of a PlayStation 5, which none of us want. Especially considering they're not even using the 4 to its full potential.
They're not. I mean, they just released the PS4 Pro, which has very good hardware.
That's great, but I mean, one, I bought a PlayStation 4. I don't have the money or the need or want to go out and buy a Pro. I mean, if I hadn't had a console yet, I would have gotten the Pro.
Yeah.
In fact, I would have gotten a Spider-Man one if they had done it.
Yeah.
But I can't be buying 6, 7, 8 consoles. Furthermore, the Pro just came out, and they, yet again, aren't even using it to its full potential. And now there's rumors about the 5. And I'm like, really? Come on, guys. Give us some time. Let us breathe a little bit. Let us make back the money that we just spent on your console. Let us buy some games for your console.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I don't have the Switch yet is, 1, money. 2, by the time I got the Wii U, I didn't get very many games for it. And then the Switch came out. And I'm like, well, great. Now everything new that comes out is probably not going to be available on the U.
Speaking of consoles, the developers behind Project Cars 1 and 2, Slightly Mad, has made a console called the Mad Box. The Mad Box has 3 different variations, which seem to be like a easygoing budget brand. A little cube, a flat touchscreen-esque thing. I don't want to call, it looks like a DVD player. And then a higher end, it looks like a bowling ball rack, but it still has a nice design. It's got some LEDs on it. But each one of them has their pros and cons. The controllers look very interesting. It looks like one of those old original Xbox controllers,
which was a beast.
That thing could husk around, but it's got these talons on the back for precision shooting and whatnot, and then it has a touchscreen in the middle, and everything's LED oriented. I'm like, that battery life is gone.
So you showed me the controller, and my first thought was like, ooh, those buttons are a little high up versus where you're holding the controller. And the more I thought about it, though, I was like, I had a very negative reaction to the Wii U controller. But holding that thing and playing games on it,
comfy.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I don't even realize that it's such a huge beast in my hand. But also, what Nintendo did is they also released a controller much more like the PlayStation or Xbox controller for those that didn't want to use the pad.
Oh, the Pro Controller.
Yeah. So this company could essentially do the same thing, release variations of the controller.
Yeah.
They may not necessarily need to. This controller may end up being perfect. But, I mean, I feel like we've kind of reached the point of stop changing the controller so much. We all kind of figured out what the good controller is. And then Nintendo goes, no, here's a new console with a whole new controller. And we're like,
you get these little tiny things.
Okay, guys, we'll try out your new controller. But
also, it has motion controls in it.
Yeah, which I've had some experience with the Switch, not a lot. But I enjoy it. I've tried playing some Mario Party. I felt like a toddler trying to figure out a Switch console, though, because the controller was just handed to me, and I was told, yeah, go ahead and play some Mario Party. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I had no clue what to do. So I sat there and messed. It took me forever. And even once I figured it out, I had to keep looking at it and refiguring it out. So, I don't know. I feel like Mario Party is actually probably one of the best ones to start with, because you've got all the different mini games you can do, so you'll figure out the different ways the controller can be used. Mario Party is definitely a good starter for that controller.
Yeah.
I don't think you should launch yourself straight into Breath of the Wild when you don't know the controller. But
but it makes me wonder, how is this console going to work? There was a slight rumor on the Twitter. It was a comment on the post, but I don't think it was made by the original person, that Steam is wanting to do a handshake on it. And I'm like, Steam in this thing? I'm like, oh, that's fine and fair, but it makes me wonder, is this going to be that Steam box debacle?
Well, didn't Steam officially killed the Steam box, right?
Yeah, they're selling them at fucking clearance prices.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be support for it anymore, is there? Once it's out.
It still does that whole thing where you can attach it to a TV elsewhere while signing into it. So I'm
just worried about the lag on that. I've never experienced it. I've never used it. But...
It's 5 millisecond latency, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
But even still, on hair trigger games like Counter-Strike and let's say Portal, because there are some actions you got to go quick with. You're not going to be able to... You might be able to get it if you're, doing it over and over and over, but some people don't like 5 milliseconds. Some people, like me, I like my 2 millisecond freaking monitor refresh rate, and I refuse to go any higher.
I mean, if I'm playing The Sims, 5 milliseconds isn't going to kill me.
No.
But if I'm playing any kind of online shooter,
yeah,
5 milliseconds can be a world difference. If you're out playing in Madden or a racing game or anything along those lines, Rocket League, anything like that, I could see the 5 milliseconds becoming more of a problem, especially for the people that are in leagues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If your game starts to lag even a little bit and you're playing some Overwatch, you could be SOL.
Yeah.
But so tell me more about this. Is it supposed to be? So it's going to be
it's
a full digital platform.
It's all digital platform. They said they want the middle tier, the flat DVD player looking one with the touchscreen. They want that one to be like an all-in-one multimedia set. It showcased an image of Netflix, and I'm wondering if Netflix is backing it. Because
Netflix is on pretty much everything. Yeah. The only thing they officially aren't on anymore is the original Wii. They shut down the servers because no one was using them. But that was, no one's using them anymore, shut down the servers, we can repurpose those servers.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, I'm like, this is cool that you can run Pandora, all that nonsense, and then it has, on the very front of its touchpad, it showcases what's on screen. I'm like, that's kind of neat, and, I like it. It's a niche. It looks like it'll fit in any scenario that you have with a modern cabinet, and then you just put it there, and it'll showcase what it's doing. It has beautiful LEDs. The thing looks like a rave. Both the controller and the console, all 3 variations of the console look like little mini rave boxes along with just its various colors.
I mean, allowing media is definitely a great thing because I want to be able to watch the stuff in whatever room I'm going to want to watch the stuff in.
Yeah.
But there's already so much competing with that between Amazon Fires, Google Chromes, Roku's, already consoles supporting it, but launching a console without it doesn't make sense.
And it makes me wonder, what is this console going to bring that we don't already have?
Yeah, especially considering Atari's launching one.
Are they?
You didn't hear about this? Oh, this has been works for a little bit. There's an Atari coming out that they're saying look at it as a multimedia device.
Oh,
it's going to be about streaming. There won't be any discs made for this game. Any games that come out will be streamed or digitally downloaded type of thing.
Okay.
Don't go in expecting them to slap Space Invaders in there for you. That's not the point of this. This is a step forward. The whole thing is them advancing. But so it's like, that's coming out, and then you've got this other company that's like, oh, here's 3 things we're releasing. I'm like, oh, okay. Then there's rumors that Xbox is looking at whatever they're going to call the next one, Xbox 2 or 720 or whatever. Originally it talks it was Scorpion, which turned out to be something else. Xbox has been talking about 2 consoles as well. One that is a purely streaming type service, like it would only be running things like Game Pass. And then a second one for those of us that still want to buy discs and get the new games. So it's like everyone is having the same idea right now, and I'm wondering where we're going to go with it.
I'm just hoping that the market is going to become oversaturated, just like it was back in the SNES era, where it was the SNES, Genesis, Jaguar, 32X.
Do you remember when Nokia came out with a handheld game console? You don't remember this? So it was this big, weird shaped silver thing. It had these buttons on the side, screen in the center. It looked like they just shoved a phone in the center.
Wait, what was it? Wait, who?
Nokia, the phone company.
Oh, the N-Gage.
The N-Gage, that's what it was.
I was like, wait a minute.
And the original one came out, and you had to remove the back, the battery, and then the game cartridge. And they quickly went, oh, people don't like doing that? Okay, let's come out with the other version where you push the cartridges in. And it failed because 1, saturated market. 2, it wasn't its best the day it came out. And when you're in a market that is that saturated, you have to be on your A game the day you come out, or your SOL.
I remember playing Tomb Raider on it and going, this is running like garbage.
Well, yeah, Nokia can do indestructible phones, but they can't, that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to play Tetris on the Nokia, I know I'm golden, but that's...
Tomb Raider with the physics and all that. I think it might have had a okay PlayStation 1 emulator, but I'm not going to go into hardware details. I was too young.
Well,
Yeah.
I do worry about that, though, like you said, the saturated market, because we're seeing this from everyone. So it's like, who's going to be the winner here? Who's going to be the failure? The one that fails?
PC.
Well, yeah, PC's always got its spot, don't get me wrong. But there's some companies also that understand that there's money in the consoles, and you end up with things like Arkham Knight that doesn't ever work on the PC. No matter how good your PC is, the game was broken.
You're right.
Or you have things...
But that's not a problem of the hardware. That's a problem of the developer.
Yeah, but you're going to have the developers that favor one thing over another also. But that also reminds me, is we've got Mortal Kombat 11 coming out. We're going to get beta on Switch and PC on the 28th of March. Which is good for Switch and PC owners. You get to play the beta if you want. But for console people, like me, who have the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One... it's being technically made by a different company.
It's not Nether?
So Nether's doing the story, the game, everything. They're really focusing on the Switch and PC, though. So the people that are, I guess you could say, porting it for Xbox and PlayStation is someone else. That's why we're not getting a beta.
Okay.
It is the weirdest way to handle it, because I understand when you decide you're going to port a game that came out on a platform. If a game comes out on PC and then a year down the line, like Undertale, you decide suddenly you're going to bring it to console. If he had outsourced it to a different company to port it, that makes sense. People do it all the time.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is. This is a game that comes out this year, and instead they're letting other companies get their hands in the mix. And I already wasn't impressed with Mortal Kombat 10.
I mean, the trailer looked good.
Yeah, but so did the Mortal Kombat 10 trailer.
Okay. I say I'm going to wait on that one, just because I'm not a big fan of Mortal Kombat as it is.
The beta would be a good way for you to test it, see if you like it. But also the other thing we're running into an issue with is that betas now come as a thing when you purchase the game.
Yeah.
Anthem's doing that. 76.
Anthem looks and plays good.
They just did a thing where if you do get the beta, you can also get it for 3 of your friends. So
I got it from a friend. So
yeah, I'm just saying. So like if say I were to pre-order it and get the beta, like I did with 76, when I was offered the extra beta codes, I passed them out to friends I wanted to try Anthem or try 76 out with me. I could do it with Anthem. Problem is I don't have the money right now, and I don't have the time to go and get Anthem and hope that it works out. You know, we've had too many games that looked great at the beginning. No Man's Sky, Fallout 76, which isn't nearly as bad as everyone makes it out to be, but it has its issues. Mortal Kombat 10, for me to keep putting myself at risk like this. Give me some demos, guys. Let me play the game. Even if the demo's inside of a damn GameStop or a Walmart. Remember back when that was a big thing? Like walking into Walmart and being able to play the game?
Yeah.
It's like, let me do that again. Because guess what? I don't trust you anymore. You've kind of lost it. But so if you're on PC, if you're on Switch, you get to have the beta, which is good for you guys. Yeah. I hope that works out.
We'll see. I don't know. I've fallen out with fighting games as of recently. I used to be a heavy fighting game aficionado.
So I suck at fighting games, which is why I always liked Tekken and Mortal Kombat, because the story was great.
Yeah.
And not to say the story's not great in other things like Street Fighter, it's just I don't have time for the subtitles. Talk to me. I want to hear it. Translate it, guys. Dub it. Please dub it. I'm dyslexic. I don't have the time for that. But even the story from Mortal Kombat 10 felt so rushed. I beat the whole game in a day, and I suck at fighting games. I'm absolutely terrible. But this is all reminding me about Fallout. People are bashing Bethesda again.
Oh,
it's only been a week since the last podcast, and
okay, hit me with it. Let me know.
Bethesda announced a new item you can buy. It's a leather jacket,
in game or out of game.
Real life.
Okay,
leather jacket.
Okay.
Fallout 76, Vault 76, leather jacket, 100% leather.
Okay.
It's blue and yellow.
Okay, how much?
$300.
Okay, is it made from like an actual cow that got radiated and got stripped of this leather?
No, it's leather. Leather jackets are expensive. I'll tell you that. I do have a leather jacket I paid some good money for.
Okay.
The problem is everyone's like, oh yeah, the 100% leather jacket that's made completely out of nylon. You know, they're doing things like that.
Did they do that again?
No, it's not even there's no debacle. From my understanding, it is leather, but everyone is making those jokes.
Oh.
And I'm just like, guys, back off. They fixed the error. We'll give them a chance. They're trying to win you back. The problem is, the jacket's fucking ugly.
Oh.
It looks like the Vault jumpsuit, which is ugly.
Yeah.
It's like I would buy a Vault 76 or a Vault 101 or
made out of cotton.
Vault 11 sweater, anything. You know, I'd buy any of the Vaults. You could Vault 69, I don't care. Make up whatever Vault number you want. I would buy the sweater. Probably wouldn't wear it very often, though. They're ugly. It is an ugly scheme. Yeah. And that goes back to original Fallout. It is an ugly scheme.
Blue and yellow has a bit. If it was like, I don't know why, but I enjoy the dirty colors. If it was like faux dirty.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be like, that looks kind of neat. It looks niche, and it looks a little bit dirty overall, but at least it looks interesting in total. It doesn't have a negative tone.
Yeah. And it doesn't have that much of the yellow. I'm going to show you it right now. So it's the numbers on the back.
Oh, it doesn't have the arm stripes.
And then it's got a stripe around the neck.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. If it had like brown splotches around there and like some dirt
but then
some
it's
scuffs.
Like, you kind of have to stop and ask yourself, am I going to wear a dirty jacket?
No.
But to be fair, if you look at the 76 jumpsuits, they don't have the arm marks either. They've got a waist mark.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
So, you don't have the waist on the jacket, obviously.
No.
But it's an ugly jacket. That's the thing. I'd be like, ooh, guys, really? That's the jacket you released? Give me a Nuka-Cola jacket. Give me a...
Ooh.
Well, not a Red Rocket because that's got a double meaning. But,
yeah.
Give me something...
Give me the Atoms.
Give me the Atoms. There you go. Give me Reclamation Day. Give me anything else. Give me the Tunnel Snakes jacket. I'll wear a Tunnel Snakes jacket.
Tunnel Snakes rule.
Yeah. But the blue and yellow, which is actually more of like a shimmery yellow.
It's like duct tape.
Yeah, that's a good look at it. It looks like you duct taped a 76 onto the back of it. But so, I mean, yet again, they're mad at them. And in the realm of people being mad at companies, someone kind of made a big boo-boo over at DC Comics.
Oh.
So, you know how you can get those Archie and Jughead comics at the cash register at Walmart? The big 100 pages.
Yes.
DC's doing that, and they have been for a little bit now. So you can get a 100-page Superman comic for $3.99 or something like that.
Okay.
And it's same type of material, everything.
The cheap newspaper style paper?
Yeah, which is fine.
Okay.
They just released issue 7, I want to say it was.
Okay. That's what you were talking about. I forgot what you were talking about with that. Oh, now I remember.
Yeah. So People are mad because these don't have ratings on them like regular comic books do.
No.
So regular comic books have a rating. We used to have the comic book code seal approval, and that's gone and everything. But there's still a level of rating. It's a lot like the like the video game rating, T13, E for everyone, M for mature type of thing. These ones don't have it at all. You can look at the covers, backs, sides, nothing. So a lot of parents, and this is kind of where it came from, was a guy on Twitter. He reads these with his 10-year-old son. And then this new issue came out, which has 12 straight pages of Superman freaking out because he's going to be out of town. And he's worried about what's going to happen to Lois Lane. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for anyone. But with it being in the news, I figured you guys might have seen it. Also, with it being these 100-page things, it's not like a huge thing with the story. But he's worried what's going to happen to Lois. And they go on for 12 pages about all the different ways Lois Lane could die. And from what I understand, they get kind of brutal, complete with one where Lex just shoots her in the head. They show her body drop to the ground, and they cut the page off just before the bullet hole in the head. So you don't see the damage. But you still saw Lex point a gun at her head, pull a trigger, and her flop down dead. So people are very upset. And the guy apologized. The writer apologized. He's like, I didn't mean to offend anyone. It's just, this is the story. They didn't care. People are not accepting his apology. They're pissed. People are not taking this well. So DC's taking a bit of a hit there. And while I don't read as much DC as I do Marvel, I do like to stand up for DC because they do have good characters. They may not have the greatest cinematic universe, but they do have great characters.
I mean, you pulled me into Batman with Hush and the Long Halloween.
Yes.
Those two are really good.
Well, and here's some news that you'll enjoy. DC finally joined Comixology's Unlimited plan. So now you can get DC Comics in that $5 a month program on Comixology Unlimited.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Big fan, but not sponsored. But the other reason why I like to stand up for DC, though, is that they're trying to keep the prices of their books low as much as possible.
That's understandable.
They have some of the cheapest prices on comics to this day. We're mostly seeing $3.99, which Marvel's got its $3.99 titles as well. But DC they fight so hard to not drop the page count, and they fight so hard not to raise that price. So to see them take a hit for what is arguably a really good deal, 100 pages for $4 is an amazing deal because you're talking good 20 comics.
Yeah. That's a trade.
Yeah, pretty much, if not more. So I hate to see them take this blow. But that's something that we could talk about as well, though, is comic book suggestions for anyone that's trying to bridge that gap between Marvel and DC. Is we can give suggestions between what characters you may like. So, like I said, you're a Punisher fan. You might want to read some Red Hood. Yeah. You can jump in on Red Hood and the Outlaws. You can just jump in on Death in the Family to see his origins, things like that. And then, we could also vice versa it for DC over to Marvel, which is a little bit more difficult, but they've definitely got their characters. A lot of people like to say that Iron Man is the Marvel version of Batman, which I could see, but I'd like to steer you toward Moon Knight.
I could definitely slide with Moon Knight on that one.
Is a great one. Multiple personalities. One has money, one doesn't. All hero.
Yeah, and even when he's broke, he's like, I'm still going to do this job.
A very good point. One thing I did recently read that I'm not a big fan of is this one's been out for a little bit now. Was they did these two runs. They did a Wonder Woman run and they did a Batman run, and it's basically supposed to be a bit more of a canon origin for anyone that's like, God, I don't want to read 100 issues back. Well, it's like this is how the character happened. So they did a Wonder Woman one that was amazing in it, and it's basically year one is the idea. The only thing I didn't like is it was set during modern times. So when her boyfriend, or whatever you want to call him, crashes on the island, he's in like a fighter jet. Like a modern day fighter jet.
Oh.
What I did like is they made him black, which was pretty cool. I was like, sweet, showing some respect there to the other races, and he's still the same character. Now they're doing the Batman one, or they did the Batman one, and where I run into an issue with the Batman one is they pulled a lot from a more recent Batman run where Alfred is an ex-soldier, which has been a thing in some of the other ones, but they pulled that so hard that the Waynes die the day he meets Alfred. So there's no precursor of Alfred taking care of him.
Yeah.
Furthermore, they made him a snotty brat who bumps into someone at one point and went, "Watch where you're going. Don't you know who my parents are? They're the richest people in Gotham." Which then makes the guy go, "You're the Wayne kid." And then he kills his parents. So, like, there were things in it, and I haven't finished it yet, but there were things in it that I'm just like, oh, this is what everyone's going to think Batman is. And I don't want it to be that. There's a few more things that I want to talk about, though. So, two things going on with John Wick 3, in a sense. Thing number one is, whoever saw the screening of John Wick 3, I hate you. Because you guys are potentially ruining a film franchise I really love.
Elaborate that point.
So they did a film screening, and everyone went, "The action in this movie is amazing. There's too much of it."
How can there be No. How can there be too much of action in something that is supposed to be grit your teeth and go? Because
it's being made by a stuntman. Like, the director for the first two, and I'm pretty sure he's the director for the third one as well. He's a stunt actor.
He's like, fuck it. It's supposed to be, I'm wanted by literally 90% of these people. He gives me 20 seconds to run. I'm going to take my 20 seconds. Can I at least get a gun? Thank you for the gun. Time to fight.
$7 million, 7 bullets, or whatever it was. From the sequel.
Also, here's a pencil. I'm going to use it to kill another person in this movie, too.
Yeah.
No, it's supposed to be all action. I actually refuse to have less action. Yeah. Like having, the guy who played Morpheus, his name, Lawrence Fishburne. Having him, have him all of those talking roles, I felt like it slowed it down to a nice pace to allow you to breathe. But at the same time, I was like, get back out there. Get back out there. Give him a gun. Get back out there. Yeah. Give this motherfucker a gun. Yes, give him a gun. Get him out there.
The first one had its dialogue. It had a lot more dialogue than the second one, but it was still a good pacing. So I'm wondering if maybe they cut out even more dialogue than what they did with the third. And that's people's issues. But, I mean, how much dialogue do we need? He needs to kill everyone and save his ass.
Yeah, he needs to reach another... I don't even know... Is he still allowed in Haven?
No, because that's why he's in trouble.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because he killed...
Spoilers.
Yeah. Well, it's been out for 2 years now?
2 years.
Yeah, it's been out for a couple of years. My theory on spoilers, and I know I'm going to get some contrast for this, is we don't try and give anything toward like major key points such as the Star Wars who is Luke's father, but we're going to try and stay in the closed mind of... It's been 2 years. It's been long enough. You haven't seen it in 2 bloody years. Come on now.
I'm not going to tell you who's in the raincoat in Alice, Sweet Alice. Okay?
So
don't freak out.
Anything major like that, where we're going to take a step back and be like, well, I'm not going to spoil the ending for you.
But this is a great moment to mention. We do have descriptions on the episodes, so please be sure to check that, because we won't spoil our episode per se, but we will tell you what we're talking about. So if you want to avoid a spoiler for something, you might want to check our description.
Yeah.
Because we do tell you what we're talking about. But... the other thing that's come up with John Wick 3 is, I don't know the game series, but Echo, have you heard of it?
Echo the Dolphin?
No, it's a video game series.
Echo.
Are you thinking Echo the Dolphin as in...
Genesis?
Yeah, no, not that.
Echo.
Well, Echo is...
I'm hard Googling right now.
They're going to be making a movie. It's getting an adaptation, and the writer for John Wick 3 is the one that's supposed to be writing the script. So I'm excited. I can't base it off of John Wick 3 yet, though, because I haven't seen it.
Okay. I was given a chance to be in the beta before this game launched, and I turned it down because I was in a depressive mood. So I was like, I'll let it slide. It interested me. It interested me heavily, but I felt like I wasn't going to make any content for this, and I felt like I wasn't going to give the game its just dessert, because it looked like it had all the good elements of stealth, espionage, probably a twist ending because of how traverse it was. It was stark white. Like, I had the trailer full screen on my main monitor, and my face was just glowing white. It was something surreal, and I felt really good looking at the trailer, but I was like, nah, I'll play it if you guys are still offering it later. They didn't offer it later, and I was like, yeah, sorry. I kind of regret not picking that one up, but they're making it into a movie?
Yep. So it's getting a film adaptation, and the current attempt at a script is the writer from John Wick 3. Now, the reason I say current attempt at a script is because if anyone follows movies closely, sometimes you'll find out that they've had 6-7 different people write scripts, and they
think too many hands in the pot.
Well, that happens, or they go, I don't like your script, and they move on to the next person, or they do what DC and Warner Brothers was doing for a little bit, which I There was rumors that they stopped. There's rumors they're still doing it. There was talks that DC had a writer room full of people. People were writing scripts for movies, and then someone would read 3 scripts for Aquaman or something like that, and go, "Oh, I like what you did through pages 1 through 10. I like what you did through pages 2.
That's Suicide Squad.
10 through 20, and so on and so forth. Smash them all together in one script. Go." And it's like, wait, what? So I'm not saying that's what's happening with Echo, because that's not at all what we heard. We've got an actual writer named, but until we actually get the movie being filmed with his script, I don't know.
I'm worried that it's going to be another Ghost in the Shell, though.
Could be.
I love Ghost in the Shell, the animated set, and then when the Scarlett Johansson popped out, I was like, ugh. I watched it. I enjoyed the movie for what it was. I just felt like it missed out on a few things that the anime had that the movie did not.
I mean,
Scarlett Johansson, I love her as an actress, but not as Major Kusanagi. I'm sorry.
It could be, it could be even worse than that.
You think so?
It could be better than that too. I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. He could do absolutely amazing. Like I said, I can't base it because I haven't seen John Wick 3 yet. But once John Wick 3 comes out, I'll have a better idea for his script writing. But at least with Ghost in the Shell, they had the suits and stuff like that, But stuff like that's out of the scriptwriter's hands. Just because you write the script doesn't mean you get to do things like that. So.
Let's pick up with something happy and joyous that I want to talk about.
Okay.
D&D. As I said, I could talk for 6 hours, but I'll try and condense it down. I just finished, the vast majority of the latest book that came out, the Waterdeep Dragon Heist. If you are just starting out in D&D and you're wanting to get into DMing, looking into that book would probably be the best bet. Either that one or Tomb of Annihilation. Those two I would say are good starters. All the other ones are a little bit more intermediate and a little bit more quicker paced to adventurers who are more advanced. Those who actually know the game can put down. But Waterdeep Dragon Heist is great for starters. It's got a lot of turnarounds, and it's got some NPCs that actually do some really good stuff for you if your DM allows them to. And I can foresee who's still writing. Is it Wizards of the Coast that are still writing these books?
Yeah. So for the most part, it's completely become Wizards of the Coast. It's all D&D Central.
Okay.
So that back in the day, they used to do Paizo used to write a magazine that was nothing but D&D adventures and stuff like that you could run for different levels. And I actually suggest if anyone wants to do some low-level stuff, there's some really good low-level stuff in some Paizo magazines that you can go find. Paizo used to run a whole magazine that was nothing but D&D stuff, and D&D eventually just went, you know what? Why are we paying a third-party company to write stories when we could pay the writers we have on staff to write just as many stories, and then we get to keep 100% of the profit rather than 75 or 50 or whatever their deal was. But what they did do for Paizo, which I will say is, while they did do a move like that, they were very respectful and let Paizo finish the stories that they were in the middle of. So they actually let the contract go long enough, and I think they even paid them for a couple months past the contracts, is what I've heard, to finish everything. I do know a lot of the Paizo writers were actually glad it ended because they were starting to butt heads with D&D a lot, because what people have said is that over there at Wizards of the Coast and over at D&D is that they'll kind of forget about places that they wrote about, and when you want to do a story there, they go, why? We have this over here.
But I like Cholt.
Yeah, so actually what ended up happening is, so the contract ends, Paizo goes on to create Pathfinder. Paizo is right. Pathfinder. And now is also Starfinder, which is basically D&D in space. Starfinder's amazing. If you want to read some really interesting sci-fi stuff, go read some Starfinder. Okay. They've actually got a really good beginner's campaign that introduces you into... they've got like the Starfinder Society, which is like the Pathfinder Society from Pathfinder. Basically, the idea is expanding and understanding everything. And it's very much early Star Trek, where we weren't supposed to go fight everyone. We're supposed to just go and figure out what places are, but oh crap, there's bad people here. We need to fix this.
Set lasers to kill.
Yeah. So, it's Wizards of the Coast. So you can trust them to do good writing.
Okay.
Otherwise that wouldn't be what it is.
You're correct.
But if you do want some interesting stuff from the 80s and whatnot, I would go and check out some Paizo's earlier work.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the magazine. It wasn't called Paizo. Paizo is just the one that made the magazine.
But Google will help
Google,
that search.
Yeah, Google will have that in a second. But you want to talk about happy good times. Netflix have something coming out that I'm excited for. They're bringing back Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, yes.
I don't know who the host is going to be. They haven't said anything.
At this point, who really cares? Because the Unsolved Mysteries of today's times are just as interesting as the ones from the past. It
was just his voice on the original was just like, as soon as you heard that voice, you were ready for Unsolved Mysteries.
And whenever he would reveal something that seemed weird, you would just be like, oh.
Yeah.
And you get that chill down your spine. Yeah, I get you.
So I'm pretty excited for that. And then for those of you that are Criterion fans, or those of you that are Jackie Chan fans, Police Story 1 and 2 are going into Criterion, which is a big deal. So this is going to bring it to Blu-ray. This will probably get it a collector's box. You'll probably get a bunch of bonus features you've never seen. Maybe even some new commentaries. Not guaranteeing anything, but based off of other Criterions I've seen. And I do buy Criterions. I've got the Criterion for Dazed and Confused, for Videodrome, and some others. Criterion puts some serious work into the Blu-rays and DVDs you're buying. So to see both police stories, especially considering they're doing both of them and not just one of them, coming together like this for Criterion will be amazing. I'm hoping it's a box set and not buy one and then the other.
Yeah, I'm hoping both, because if they're already announced for both, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do both, considering it's going to be on a Blu-ray. Blu-ray can hold them both easily.
Oh yeah,
minor flex.
Yeah, and I heard, don't take me for sure on this, but I heard this is Jackie Chan's first film to go into Criterion.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't be surprised. It's one of his early works.
I mean, I'm like trying to think of what other of his that would make it into Criterion. I'm like, maybe Jackie Chan, Who Am I? But I don't think it's Criterion. So
maybe not.
I know the Rush Hours aren't.
Yeah, Rush Hours probably got a little bit ways to go before they even halfway get in there, because I remember having the Blu-ray or not the Blu-ray, the original DVD and all those features on there there was a lot of features on that DVD.
Yeah.
So I don't.
And one of the big things with Criterion is they want to make sure it was a movie that had an effect, and not just in a, oh, we all loved this movie, but this movie kind of represented something. That's why Clerks is Criterion. Because it really did delve into the life of customer service and not being the boss and dealing with the boss's crap. But also at the same time being Randall and not giving a single damn. By coming into work, you're getting your paycheck, and that's all you really deserve at the end of the day. Yeah. And kind of delved into the what do I do with my life type of thing, and I don't know. Did they do Clerks 2, or did they leave that one alone? Because I don't think Clerks 2 went into Criterion. I think it was just Clerks 1. Okay. I would like to see Red State go Criterion. I think that's another one of Smith's that would deserve Criterion status, because the way it took on Westboro Baptist Church is amazing. Okay. So I feel like that one is one that could definitely go Criterion. So there were a few more things you wanted to get to, though, right? Just a couple. Resident Evil's got a TV show popping out. Yeah, there's rumors that Netflix is doing it. And as a huge Resident Evil fan, almost got a tattoo of the Umbrella logo on my shoulder. I would never trust you again. With what? With what? Anything bio in its name. Yeah. Quincy, is that coffee you're drinking? Yes. Oh. I made it myself. Are you sure? Yes. No, I'm a huge fan. I've played almost all of them. The only one I could not trudge my way through was Resident Evil 6. The stories were varied, outcasting. It was all over the place. When Jill's not almost becoming a Jill sandwich, what are you going to do? I would prefer to be the Jill sandwich at that point. Real talk, I love the niche of Resident Evil 1's bad voice acting. I loved it. I loved the fuck out of it. I love that they kept it for the remake. Yeah, because you can. I think in the remake you can choose the updated or original, but even still, I would still take the original. Yeah. There's just there's just something about it. There is a nice feel to it. Plus the FMV at the beginning, everyone says they hate it, but I'm like, that's the best part of having four to five actors and 2 make-upped dogs, being attacked and all that nonsense, and having the Wesker lookalike shoot his samurai edge. I'm like,
that's great. It looks fantastic. There's nothing wrong with this. How can you hate it? Yeah, sure, it's a little, stale and all that, but how can you be against that?
Yeah. No, my thing with the Resident Evil TV show though is I'm not against it by any means.
Was it animated or live
They
action?
haven't said because it's not even confirmed that it's Netflix. It's in a rumor that it's going to be Netflix.
Oh.
It's still very up in the air. You got to remember, I don't know if they'll necessarily do it because right now this is the company that's about to release The Witcher with Superman playing The Witcher, Henry Cavill. So it's like, ooh, we're going to see how well they can do video game adaptations. And I feel like that right there is going to be whether or not they decide to make any more.
There was a response to that where there was this older gentleman. He's got a gray beard, all that nonsense. He looks just like Geralt. He looks just like him. Like to the nine.
Have you seen the voice actor dress up like him?
Yeah.
Spot on.
Like spot on. Like both of them. But he's like, instead of him, can I please? I've worked on lines. I've played this game for hours. Please let me. And I'm like, if he's like 48, 49 years old and he looks like that, and he looks like he can, swing that sword, do the warlock magic, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Don't put this half-ass actor into it because God
I
only
don't
knows
want to call Henry Cavill half-ass because he's not.
For the roles that he's put on.
Okay.
Because I don't like him as Superman.
I don't like those movies at all. And I'm not sure how much of that is him. Just like I don't think Ben Affleck's a bad Batman. I think the script is terrible.
I actually don't mind him as Batman.
Yeah.
He did an okay Batman. Who was the voice actor for the Telltale games?
For the Batman Telltale games?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, well, even still, I liked the voice modulation system. So it could literally be anyone in the mask. All you have to do is have Bruce be an actual out of character experience that is the only recognizable part.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have troubles getting good Bruce Waynes. We do have our troubles getting good Batmans too, but I'm a firm believer that Michael Keaton was the best.
I'm at an okay standpoint that Michael Keaton was good, and a close second would be George Clooney if they didn't do the weird, wacky nonsense Batman Robin bat nipples nonsense.
Bat credit card.
Bat credit card. That means that he could be traced. Did you know?
Point.
Yeah, like
well,
hello?
He probably owns the company that would trace it. So, I mean,
a bat credit card.
There's a fun thing in one of the comics where you realize that not only does Batman know Clark Kent is Superman, he owns the building Clark lives in and owns the Daily Planet.
Does he?
Yeah. So he could, and I think there was even something about like he owns the bank that owns the Kent farm or something.
Wow.
He could wreck Clark's life in like a snap of his fingers.
But wait a minute. My name's Martha.
Oh, God, don't get me started on that.
That was the dumbest. All right, but enough of that. No more salt. We're not bringing salt to this.
So back to the Resident Evil thing. So
I would like to see it do. You ever play Resident Evil Outbreak File 1 or 2?
Mm-mm.
Okay, it had you as a civilian / beat cop with a gun, just doing the average things to survive. One of the main areas is just this bar that, you go in, have a drink, and then all of a sudden a shambler comes walking in, does his thing, bites on someone. What the hell? And then all of a sudden a whole horde is already there at the door. Board up them doors, do this, do that, get these keys, and it has you have to be on part. The thing was, it was in the PlayStation 2 era when the online just started. It had an okay story, but man, was that game terrible if you played it online. Because one of the major negativities before patches started being a thing was someone could grab one of the key items and sit in a corner with a baseball bat and keep swinging the baseball bat so they keep the zombies off. And just sit there and grief. And I was like, ugh. But the story was great as far as intro. This is where it started. It didn't start up at Arclay.
Yeah.
It didn't start up there. No, it started in the city.
Yeah. Well, I know that they tried to do the co-op thing in 5.
Oh, yeah.
They even made her left-handed so that the split screen would work better. I don't know if you ever realized that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she's left-handed so that when you're doing the split screen, the view you're getting works compared to the view the other person's getting. It doesn't matter when you're doing online, but for split screen, it was nice to see some thought put into split screen because it still did that thing where you had the huge black space on the top right, huge black space in the bottom left.
Yeah.
When it should have been full screen, like full left and right on both. But what my worries come from with Resident Evil is we've had all the games, which for the most part have done well with keeping the story somewhat comprehensible versus like Mortal Kombat.
I'm looking at you, Resident Evil 6, stupid bastard.
Or I was gonna say Kingdom Hearts, where it's like, oh, the number 3 is out and I want to play, but shouldn't there be only 2 games I played before? No, there's like 8 games you played beforehand.
There's a lot.
And it's like, holy crap.
Like, there's 1, 2, the prequels, which is 356-2 and Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, so...
And then you have the ones in the middle, which is Final Mix and...
So I like how well they've kept the story for the Resident Evil games...
Chain of Memories.
...connected versus what we've seen in some of these other bigger companies doing things. But what does scare me is that we got one movie with Mila Jovovich where we were like, okay, that was great, and that was supposed to be her only movie. And then for some reason they went, let's make 6 more with her. Which, nothing against her. I like her.
She was a good Alice. It's just, I would have preferred to see more Jill, more Chris, and not the actor that played
Jill
Chris.
shows up in what?
3
2 movies?
3 and 2 and 3. 2 and 3.
She shows up in 2 and 3.
She was in 2 and 3?
Yeah, I don't think she's in 4.
It's
been a while.
I
didn't watch the final one.
They are very, very forgettable.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've seen them all. I think.
The last one I know for a fact I saw is the one where she's flying from place to place on the plane, and they come to Vegas.
That was 4.
That was the last one I saw.
Yeah.
After that, I was like, I'm done. Because now it was like the entire world was destroyed. I'm like, what's the point of even fighting anymore? And Umbrella was living underneath the ground, making more monsters to destroy the world that was already destroyed.
Yeah, BOWs, and they were like, maybe we could sell them off to the Russians. They're still alive, right? And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of money if the world doesn't exist? That was a dumb premise. That was a really dumb premise.
Yeah, so when that ended, it was almost immediately announced that they were going to reboot.
And I'm okay with the idea of rebooting that, because then that means that
maybe we could get the actual story.
Maybe we can get some good TV of Leon coming into town while you have Claire already there having to fight him off. You got the Resident Evil 0 characters, Rebecca and Tommy.
Well, then we got what's his name in 1 that keeps showing up and helping Jill.
Barry Burton?
Yeah. We could maybe figure out what Barry's doing when he's off screen.
Having Barry off screen is actually where he stays
the best.
Just
because of Jill Sandwich.
Well, Jill Sandwich, Master of Lockpicking.
Which, fun fact, did you realize that the first Resident Evil, if you want to make the game harder, you just have to not pick Jill?
Mm.
Because she can carry more items.
Oh, yeah, she gets 2 extra
She starts with a gun.
Yeah.
She's given the lockpick, and Barry comes in and fights all the bosses for her.
Oh, I don't know. I played on both. So
the game is literally easier if you play Jill.
Oh.
But
I don't care.
There was also the animated movies.
Oh, okay. To be fair, the animated movies
I got nothing against them. I'm just saying
they're pretty good.
We've had those as well.
They're entertaining. The story's a little out there, I will admit. With I think it's Annihilate. They have those really plain Jane subtexts where one is like contamination, and then the one just after that's like congelation.
Yeah,
like they're so close, but they're not bad.
No, I'm not saying they are. It's just I'm like, okay, so how many Resident Evil universes are we gonna have, guys? Because
it's a reboot, so who cares?
yeah, you can call it a reboot, but then it's like, you have things like Game of Thrones where it's like, it's spot on for the most part, and then we can't because it's not finished, so we don't know how to end our show, so we're gonna end our show our way. So what's gonna happen when they decide to end the Resident Evil show? They're gonna end it their way, or they're gonna try to make it more like the games, but the games are still going on. I'm assuming we're gonna get Resident Evil 8. We're getting the remake of 2.
We're getting the remake of 2, and I have finished the demo. I've actually gotten to as far as it'll let me go, and it's very good. It is very good in a sense that it's got the parts where you point a trigger, it'll play a scare to get you heart started, and then you do a key item, it'll have that. It's very cliche in that matter, but I'm not mad at it. And then you have the The Resident Evil engine is beautiful. Light bloom, everything. Quincy was making mention that people were saying it's too dark in the main game, and I'm like,
which may not be a problem for most. It is a problem for me. I do have my color deficiency.
Yeah.
Making things dark gets harder for me to play.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something on my own personal side. My TV's set up to colors I can see better. Games that have colorblind mode are great. So I've got my ways around it for the most part, but there are reports that 2 is very dark, and not in bloody, but dark as in physically I can't see anything dark.
Yeah.
So I'm saying the Resident Evil franchise is far from dead, especially after the hit that 7 was and the hit that 2 is going to be. Because there's no way 2 doesn't make money.
You're correct. Like, if I had a little bit of extra scrap cash, I'd throw it at a retailer. Yeah. I don't know what I would get it for, but I'd get it for something.
I've got it pre-ordered for my Xbox, so I gotta pick it up when it comes out. So.
Yeah.
But that is what worries me when people make TV shows of things that aren't finished. Is you're gonna have their ending because they're gonna feel we have to end it because we owe it to the audience, which in a lot of cases is true. We want an ending for things.
Or they could do the smarter route, and follow me on this. They could do the smarter route and have it to where it goes from Resident Evil 0 to Resident Evil, let's say, ending of 4, beginning of 5, and then they'll have like a subsidiary story for Leon for after 4, so that way we know what he's been doing from then after he comes home from Spain after saving the president's daughter to the beginning of 6, because there's a huge time gap that could be filled by that. It's just, I don't know what else it would...
I would like us to actually get the president's daughter rather than getting a hologram of the president's daughter this time, because that's all she was in Resident Evil. Was a hologram. The first Resident Evil movie. You don't remember that?
No.
They go in.
Of Umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh, Red Queen.
Yeah, I would like to actually get some people rather than holograms.
Speaking of which, a little bit of trivia. The Red Queen is the name of one of Dante's weapons from Devil May Cry.
Oh.
Yeah. Capcom was doing...
Hey, another left-handed character.
Yeah.
Well, when you get that big weird thing on your hand.
Yeah. You're right. But yeah, no, a little bit of trivia for that. Capcom loves keeping their inside jokes, because there's hints and nods in the new in the new Devil May Cry game, apparently, to Ghosts and Goblins. I haven't looked it up yet, but I'm all for this new Devil May Cry game. It's said to be about 7.5 hours long, so I'm like, for a beat 'em up, I'm okay with it.
So here's a fun little thing for you guys. I actually have never played a Devil May Cry game. I have zero knowledge about what it's about, zero experience. The only thing I do know is that he's left-handed, and that's only because I've seen the game covers. So Justin thought, I have an idea. How about instead of playing 1 through 4, you play, what is it?
DMC, Devil May Cry.
Okay, he wants me to play DMC first because he wants a outside person's view on it, and then I'll go through and play 1 through 4.
Yeah. And I give you full authorization to skip 2.
Okay.
Because 2 is unanimously, even with the reboot, the worst. It has terrible clunky controls. The music is off hilter from the action on screen. It's just, it doesn't feel great. Nobody likes it.
See, I kind of feel like when people ask me about The Witcher, because that's a franchise I enjoy, they go, "What about The Witcher?" I say, "Well, if you have a way to play 1, play 1." When it comes to 2, PC, but that's only because you can change the controls. Yeah. Because it has the most broken combat system I personally have ever experienced. It is rough.
It's pretty rough if you don't have some mappings for 2. But then 3 fixes everything.
If you can't play 1, and even if you can't play 2, 3 is an amazing game. It's beautiful. They fixed all the problems. And there have been some very well done videos on YouTube with full animation that will give you the entire stories for 1 and 2. So you could sit down, watch the YouTube videos with the animation and everything, get the whole story, and then start 3. And if you don't know the story going into 3, you will be a little confused. A lot of people say, "Oh, you don't need to know." No, you need to know a little bit. You basically need to know who he is and kind of his inner circle,
and also how he came to be.
Yeah,
because when you start out Witcher 3, you are an already established character. Mm-hmm. You already have certain abilities that he shouldn't technically have at the beginning, in my opinion. But then again, this is a sequel, so...
Yeah, it kind of comes to that whole thing of whenever I start the sequel to a game and I don't have any of the equipment that my character should have, luckily Witcher 3 doesn't do that to you.
Like,
they tried to make it make more sense in the story.
Yeah, and then, like, the only games that I've truly enjoyed the whole, this is a sequel, everything goes away, is probably like Symphony of the Night, where you enter the castle and all of a sudden Death's like, no, give me all your stuff. And takes all your stuff, and then you have to go and get it all back, or get new items.
Well, here's an example, though, is the Ratchet & Clank games. Huge Ratchet & Clank fan. You start every game with one gun after having spent the previous game getting like 20. And sure, they did a thing where if you had your save files from the other games, you could pull guns once you got to a vendor, but that normally doesn't happen until 2 or 3 worlds in. So you start out with one gun, and it's like, okay, I'm a Lombax that has saved the galaxy how many times? No, I'm pretty sure I have more than one gun on me, especially considering I have my own ship. I'm pretty sure I have some hardware in there. But I get it. New game, don't want to be overpowered, yada, yada, yada. I always thought it was weird when you would start a new Assassin's Creed game with the same character and he wouldn't have any of his equipment. And
I think the best way to do it is there's X amount of upgrades you can have, and it like locks the rest off. It just locks them off. And then the sequel, you unlock them. It'd be like that. I mean, the best way that happened was the Yakuza series.
I like the way I butchered that.
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex did it. Have you played the new one?
I have.
Yeah, so I like the way they did that with I don't know if we should spoil it. It happens right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, you already have some upgrades.
Yeah, but you don't have everything because of something that happens storyline-wise.
What was it? It was either an EMP or a jammer or something.
It was an explosion.
Yeah, and you're just like, nah.
Yeah, so like it makes sense. They made it make sense why you couldn't have. And then actually going to get your stuff repaired reveals, oh, you can upgrade. So it all makes sense. And it was a really clever way of handling it. Luckily, more games are starting to realize and do that. But then you have games like the Arkham series, which I love. I absolutely love the Arkham series. I've even played Arkham Knight more than once, and that game is nothing compared to the others. That game is Batman and Batmobile Simulator. But one of the big things you run through the Arkham game issues is, why doesn't he have all of his gear? Why do I start every game without all of his gear? Luckily, Origins is obvious because it's Origins. And then City give a good reason. He ends up in the city at the very beginning of the game as Bruce, not as Batman. So he has to have his stuff sent into him. Fine, I'll accept all of that. Those are great reasons to not have your gear. But when I play Arkham Knight and he doesn't have any of his gear, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, give me Batman's gear. Come on, guys.
Give me Batman.
The new Spider-Man game, he's several years into being Spider-Man by that point. But stuff had happened that had caused... Not stuff had happened. Stuff happens throughout the game to cause him to come up with ideas to upgrade his gear instead. So that was a good way of doing it. But now it's like, when they do a sequel... Am I going to have no gear again? I mean, I unlocked all these suits that are now just going to go away. You kind of run into that problem.
That's, I mean, maybe if the sequel was Miles Morales.
Well, I mean, I could see them doing that, but at the same time, why wouldn't Pete give his gear over to Miles? So
I don't know. Maybe it's going to be his universe, and then at like 3/4 of the way, then he gets the rest because he's figured out the. And
to clarify, if anyone's wondering anything, I've beaten Spider-Man. Justin hasn't even played it yet. He's waiting to use my copy.
Yeah, I've seen the first 2 chapters from one of my favorite YouTubers, and I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'll play it later on. It looks very fun.
You're gonna hate Screwball.
Screwball?
Yeah, she's this villain they introduced. Oh, she's terrible.
I'm just happy that Kingpin's one of the first ones you fight.
Kingpin's in there. You actually get a good taste of several villains.
Good.
You've got some new ones. You've got some classics. You see some origins. People were mad that certain ones didn't show up, and they were like, they took a very great stance. Insomniac was like, look, we love that villain too. We wanted to bring them in, but they're so big that they deserve their own game.
Oh, really?
Like, not like a game where you're playing as them, but like a game where it's like they're the focus.
Well, like, I'm speaking of games of Spider-Man, Mysterio was dropped in Far From Home.
Yeah, I don't know.
He looks hero.
I like Gyllenhaal and all, but I don't know if I like him as Mysterio.
He looks pretty good.
I wanted Jim Carrey, personally.
I would love Jim Carrey.
That would have been an amazing Mysterio.
But at the same time, I'm going to be open-minded. He looks hero because he looks like he's fighting alongside him, but it's hard to tell.
I really hope that's not the case.
I mean...
No.
Mysterio, wasn't he anti-hero?
No.
No?
No. He's a stuntman, special effects stuntman that turns to crime and uses his skills to rob places and make illusions.
Okay.
And he's common criminal.
Now he's got freaking Doctor Strange. Pew pew.
Oh yeah, no, he put things into his fingers. All kinds of gadgets and stuff.
Oh, okay.
He's a very gadgety. He has no powers. Everything he builds.
It's just a facade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fishbowl.
You see the fish floating in front. Yes.
You know,
the fish.
that's one of the things with a lot of the Spider-Man villains. A lot of them are just scientists with gear. You know, Otto Octavius,
or just angry old men.
Yeah, well, Toons is an angry old man, but he built the Vulture suit.
That's what I'm about to say.
Otto Octavius, built the arms. Gargan was forced into the suit by J. Jonah Jameson, so he's not an intelligent guy, but he becomes Scorpion because of gear, a suit that he can't get out of. Rhino, it's a suit. Any of the symbiotes, obviously, it's the symbiote, but a lot of his are technology.
What about Jackal?
I don't remember Jackal much.
Because I remember Jackal was the original one who hired Punisher to kill Spider-Man. That was his introduction into the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
But I was like...
Beautiful yellow cover.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about Jackal.
Yeah, that's all I know about the Jackal is that he was one who tricked.
Yeah, you also got the Goblins who are yet again tech, both Green and Hob. That's all tech. Green does have super strength.
Yeah.
In some of the storylines. But then you've got you do have the more, I don't want to say mutated, but power oriented characters. You've got the symbiotes, Electro, Shocker yet again is gadgets.
Sandman.
Sandman's more of a power based. Now, okay, so here's the movie that Sony's doing that's going to ruin everything they've built with Spider-Man. Granted, I didn't watch Venom. Didn't care about Venom. I don't like anything that Sony's doing outside of Marvel.
I didn't like it.
Oh, there you go. They're bringing in the vampire. I keep
Mephisto?
No, that's not Mephisto. It begins with an M. You're on the right track. I keep thinking Morpheus, and that's not right. But
Google, help.
Yeah. So they're bring him in, and Jared Leto's going to play him. Ruined.
I really want to emphasize I do not like him. I'm not against.
Watch chapter 23, chapter 24, whatever it was, the one where he plays the guy that killed John Lennon. Amazing performance, amazing movie.
Like, I don't know.
Dallas
I
Buyers
like
Club. Fight Club, he didn't really have much of a role, but he's the guy that's too fucking blonde. But then you have things like his Joker and how I can... Morbius is the name of it just popped. You're going to have him as Morbius. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to see this. There's certain things he shouldn't be allowed to do because he's kind of proven he's a character actor. He's very much like he wants to be that character. He wants to get into that character, but I feel like sometimes he wants to make the character his own, and I feel like that's where things went wrong with the Joker.
Let's put damaged on Morbius's forehead.
That'd be lovely. Let's make the fangs capped with those metal pieces. Cover them in tattoos. The other thing is Morbius isn't American.
He's
like Venezuelan or something.
I'm double checking right now.
He's got an accent in the animated series, which is amazing. But you're gonna bring him in as a white guy, and I'm like, really? I mean, didn't we learn after Marvel did the Ancient One as a white person that people don't like when you do that?
Nobody likes doing that.
Yeah, you got, for the most part, you got to do them the race that they're in. I mean, there's sometimes where, as long as they're the embodiment of the character, it works. Ben Urich is amazing. I love the black guy that they had play Ben Urich. Ben Urich's a white guy in the comics, and all I want is more of the guy that played him in Daredevil. Like, he is just so perfect as the character. But then when you do certain things like cast Jared Leto as
Morbius.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out where he's from, but it doesn't showcase. It just showcases that Jared Leto will portray this character in a live-action film adaptation set to be a part of Sony's Marvel Universe. So,
Well, that's the other thing is Sony keeps saying this is connected to the Marvel Universe, and then Kevin Feige has come in and go, no, it's not. Stop
it.
They tried doing it with Venom.
And freaking, I've made mention of this to you, but Hardy said in an interview to the question of what was your favorite part of this film, his answer was the 40 minutes that got cut. Yeah. And I'm like, if you have one of the main actors saying, hey, I'm giving a very little bit of creative criticism to make Venom look stronger in the eyes of people, I would take the hint.
Yeah. Well, then you've got the Fantastic Four movie that Fox did when they rebooted it. The one that was done by the guy that did Chronicle. I didn't see it. I didn't like the way it looked just from the trailers. But the director swears up and down that the movie that was released is not the movie he made. He says Fox came in and changed it. And to be honest, Fox has a record of doing that. Live Free or Die Hard is a big one where Fox got someone to come in and edit the film and change things in the film, covered up the Yippee-Ki-Yay part of the movie, covered up a lot of the blood, like digitally removed a lot of the blood from some of John McClane's kills.
Wow.
To lower it. And the director was like, you had someone come in and redo my art, basically.
Yeah, that's not right.
So it's not something any different from Fox. And so, the fact that Sony's doing it doesn't surprise me either. I just wish that they would just finally go full-blown in with Marvel, because let's be honest, Homecoming did amazing, and that's because they were in with Marvel. Yes, Into the Spider-Verse did amazing, and they're only kind of in with Marvel on that one in the sense that they're in with the comic book, but there's still a Marvel connection there.
I mean, they got their hand in a lot of other quote-unquote universes with Spider-Ham, Noir, OG, yep, and Miles, and the weird Japanese anime one.
Then you've also got Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. Oh, Spider-Gwen, that's right. She was in there also.
Yeah, there's the Spider-Verse is huge. The thing that got me most excited about the movie was seeing Spider-Ham. Because a lot of people don't even know he's a thing. A lot of people shrug him off. Peter Porker is amazing.
That is a great name.
Yeah, Peter Porker, Spider-Ham. I love all of it. And then the fact that John Mulaney voiced him was pretty awesome too. So, was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I am clean and clear. Everything that was, is, and shall be are done.
All right. So basically at this point, Sony is scaring us by pulling out of everything and not working together with Marvel. And people are still pissed off at Bethesda. That's where we're at.
That's the closing points. It's just a bunch of sad things to make us cry.
Well, no, we definitely had some good stuff.
Resident Evil finally gets their just desserts, but then again, we don't know if we want it or not.
Yeah, I mean, there's the fear that it's Netflix and they could cancel it after the first episode.
It's Capcom. Capcom needs the money.
Do they?
Yeah, kind of.
I thought they had success with the last Dead Rising and the most recent Marvel.
Capcom Infinite?
No.
It had treble hitboxes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and I'm putting quotations here, tournament ready, and it was, but people were like, all you have to do is play these three characters and just hope
nothing will ever beat Street Fighter Cross Tekken, where you played Tekken characters with Street Fighter controls. That was by far one of the worst fighting game decisions. Granted, the hitboxes were pretty terrible on Injustice.
Injustice 1 would probably be up there for me. My number one would probably be War Gods on the N64. That'd probably be my worst fighting game.
Played that one.
War Gods by Midway.
My Nintendo 64 time was... Midway is gone now.
Midway's gone now.
Yeah, that's one of the insane moments. What franchise did Midway do that someone else is taking on now?
God, they sold most of their stuff. Like, they sold Gauntlet. They sold it to someone else, and someone used it recently to make a Gauntlet game. They did... technically, they were the publishers for the cabinet version of Mortal Kombat, and they sold off their thing to NetherRealm.
Oh, that's what it was. That was Mortal Kombat. It was Mortal Kombat I was thinking of. I'm sorry. I don't know why I spaced that.
Rampage, the
Yeah, no,
old
Rampage.
arcade. They sold that off.
Which I was hoping we were going to see a new game when the movie came out, and we didn't.
No, it would have been pretty good to have a. I mean, the last 3D variant was the one on the N64,
Right.
and it didn't feel good.
You know what I want is, and it may be a thing, and I don't even know about it, but I would love for the VR Rampage for the VR.
I mean, I'm sure they have something for that.
They probably have something like that, but let me play as Lizzie if I want. Let me be a gorilla or a lizard or
Giant
the wolf thing. Climb up those mountains, punch things. Actually, be able to see into the building for what I'm grabbing for. Have to look around,
grab a person, throw a person.
Yeah,
Yeet!
Actually aim at the helicopters. The free idea. If it's not a thing, whoever owns Sony. Rampage now, or Sony or HTC or even whatever the heck lawsuit Facebook's gotten out of now with the Oculus, someone do that. I want to play that because that's one thing we didn't talk about. The Epic Games.
I was actually avoiding it quite drastically because I didn't want to talk about them. I wanted to go 1 week without talking about them shitty games. They're in another goddamn bind. They keep getting sued by people who are wanting to copyright dances, and to a degree, Quincy is correct. You can't really copyright a dance, but then again, if it is a dance that is a media standpoint, like let's say the Running Man, that one was curated by someone, and taking that and adapting that exactly would showcase in a copyright claim.
It's someone smelling the money, because when someone does the electric slide in a movie, there's no lawsuit.
There's none.
Nothing at all. You know how many movies I've seen with the electric slide in it? I can immediately name The Replacements and Scooby-Doo. Both had the electric slide pretty prominent in the movie, especially The Replacements, because they go all out.
They had everybody dancing it.
Yeah, in the jail, in the holding cell in the jail, and while one person was singing "I Will Survive."
I will survive.
And there was no lawsuit.
None.
No one said anything.
Then again, they might have actually asked for permission.
Maybe, but who do you even ask for permission on the electric slide? Who owns the electric slide? It was the electric slide,
or maybe it was open resource. We'll say that.
I mean,
because when you got let's put it like this:
Greece isn't getting sued over hand drive. Hand drive, yeah, hand drive.
Yeah. So I mean,
sitting here trying to do it to jog my memory.
Yeah. So I mean, but let's say Alfonso's Carlton dance from Fresh Prince.
Okay, I get
that
it.
Is
from a
staple.
TV show, something he did, and
became well known.
Dancing with the Stars.
Yes, and he became well known for it.
But then there's the guy that played Turk in Scrubs is trying to sue over the dance he did.
The default dance, as they want to call it. I'm neutral. Like, this is a great way for Epic to just toss money out at those actors and be like, sorry, we didn't mean to take them without permission, but we figured it was open resource because they're dances. They're not necessarily otherwise.
Yeah.
But on the open and closed hand, that's what made the character the character. So it would be copyright for that character.
True.
The only odd side is it is a dance. I don't know how you can copyright a dance.
Yeah, and it kind of brings you mentioned the Running Man, which, it's a big dance. You think of LMFAO, you think of Party Rock.
Yeah.
But then you stop and go, wait a minute. Running Man was around before them. They just added to it.
Did they get permission, or did they just do it?
So it's a very gray area. And I don't think Epic necessarily did anything wrong.
But here's the funnier thing. One of the major dances, called Orange Justice, they're the mother of the creator of that, who the child put up the video to enter the contest to win the Boogie Down. Mm-hmm. She deleted all the instances of the entry. The video is still up, but she says, oh no, they stole my son's video. And there was this huge debacle. He was like 26th place, but they wanted him to win. They wanted this dance in there. It was for the meme. So a season later, they introduced it as Orange Justice. It was a free one, just as long as you got to like tier 20 something. It was free and available, and then he got it in there. It's the one everyone's dancing to on frickin' TikTok. But then enter 5 or so seasons later, you have the mother stepping up and saying, he never entered that. He was just dancing, all funny willy-nilly like. I would like my money.
Well, I mean, if it's something they're giving away, there's no money. If they weren't charging people for the dance, they're giving it to you for reaching tier 26 or
Yeah.
tier whatever.
That's
what money? We made no profit.
Yeah, they made no profit, but at the same time, they used that dance,
They saw no money from it.
They saw nothing from
it. They can actually show that as we made no money. But the other reason I brought up Epic is they're calling out Steam.
That's right. They are calling out Steam. They're saying, hey, we're going to have our DRM be stronger than Steam. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I got... If I'm looking at my Steam library, I have 1,146 games on Steam right now.
I got emails today about things going on sale on my wish list on Steam. And I'm like, oh, I forgot I even had things on the wish list. That scares me because now I'm like, oh, what am I going to spend money on? Gee, on stuff on Steam. And I don't even have a gaming PC. Most of what I could buy on Steam would never run on what I have.
Yeah, this PC that we're recording on can manage Audacity right now, and that's what
and my laptop can probably run D20 Pro, and that's about it. So Steam's in there. Granted, this is the same company that sometimes forgets, oh, maybe we should fix our stuff.
Source Engine ain't great. I will be the first to say this as a longtime player of Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Global Offense and all that. I will say that there is some faults, but they are working on them. Yeah. They're fixing them.
They are also the company that will openly pay you if you discover a bug in their system.
Oh yeah,
things like that. There was a guy that recently, over the last couple of months, had discovered a bug in the system where he could generate keys for games, generate a couple thousand keys for Portal 2, turned it over to Steam, and they wrote him a couple grand worth of a check. Like the check was for a couple grand.
Yeah.
They're like, thanks. They fixed the problem. He never sold any of them, so they didn't have any issues. Boom, done. So Steam does have that. But so you've got Epic who's calling out Steam. You got Discord who just kind of went, hey, guess what? We have games. And everyone went, wait, what?
Yeah, to be fair, Discord's going to have some Discord independent games, even the ones that you get with Discord Nitro, which is their premium service for $10 a month.
That's the thing that scares me is everyone is trying to have exclusives.
Now,
PlayStation does it, Xbox does it.
What I will say for Discords, though, is that they're pretty good.
Well, I'm not saying they're bad, but the problem is if you don't reach enough people, it doesn't matter how good the game is.
But if you're on a platform that already has millions and millions of users on it, and all you have to do is add a little tiny tab bar that says store, someone's going to be like, oh, what are they selling? And then they click it and they see all these exclusives and all these amazing things that they're releasing specifically.
I like what's going on over at Skybound. So Skybound is started by Robert Kirkman, creator of The Walking Dead.
He released something recently.
They are the ones that took over the last couple episodes of the Telltale game after Telltale went, oh, you paid for the full Walking Dead game, but we closed our door, so you're not getting it. Skybound's the one that settled all of it and was able to finish it.
That's right.
They even brought over actual Telltale employees.
Yeah.
They also released the Thief of Thieves first part to
That's
story.
That's the one you wanted me to get into.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's very short. You'll burn through it all in an hour, if that.
Really?
Yeah, well, they released it on Game Pass. That's how I played it. It's not at all the full game.
Okay.
It's like a prequel almost to the story of the comic book. Mm-hmm. It kind of falls between the first 3 or 4 pages of the comic and then the rest of the comic.
Okay.
Because the first 3 or 4 is when the two main characters first meet each other, and then it goes on to the rest of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing all kinds of original stuff through Skybound right now, but he's not limiting it to any platform that I've seen.
Okay.
Everything's on Xbox. I'm seeing it on PlayStation. I'm seeing it everywhere. So that being said, you've got the ones that aren't necessarily going, no, only us, and I think they stand a better chance.
Yeah, of course.
That being said, I would like to see Epic do well. I would like to see Discord do well.
Discord I would prefer over Epic just because they seem to just throw money at their problem.
I just want to feel like I'm benefiting from what they're doing.
Yeah.
From any of these companies, what they're doing. So, but I think that's about all we have to talk about today.
Yep, I'm clear. I was trying to avoid the Epic issue, but it was a good topic. It was a good topic.
Yeah. So, as always, you'll be able to follow us on Twitter. We have our site. We have the videos go up on YouTube. They're going to hopefully be going up on iTunes if we can fix this problem. We're getting them on Google Play, SoundCloud,
iHeartRadio.
Well, iHeartRadio, once
right.
we've been around long enough, because iHeartRadio's got a few rules about that. But
Right.
we want to get to you guys on any platform, so if anyone listens to this and feels we should be somewhere else, please let us know. You can email us, you can tweet at us. All that information is available in our descriptions or on our website at UglyMugsPodcast. So find us, share us, review us, tell us we're good, please. Facebook, Twitter, all of it. Yeah. Thanks, guys.